Here it is, the new Honda Prelude, quite possibly the most controversial car of the year, because the internet decided to hate it the moment it was announced.
Because unlike past generations, this one is hybrid and there's no manual transmission. But it does have parts from the Civic Type R, so they're at least trying to make it a fun daily. What we don't know is, who is this car for?
So you're looking for a hybrid commuter with great gas mileage and sports car styling. Have you considered a Prius? I mean, why not one of these? I never thought I'd say this, but the Prius has never looked better. And this is the gas mileage and commuter king.
Or maybe you're wanting more of a sports car daily, something with good handling and dynamics, hopefully a manual transmission. Well, then you just get one of these, a GR86, or in this case, the Subaru BRZ.
The Prelude is trying to be both.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive. Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
What has Honda done here? I mean, it's kind of a Civic coupe. It is on the Civic chassis. It's been a little bit shortened and widened. This is wider than the Prelude's ever been. When we drove the current Civic Hybrid, we kind of joked with Honda about wouldn't it be cool to have a high-performance version of this car? And that's kind of what they've done here.
When you ask the question, who is this car for? I think Honda is guessing a little bit. Because there's people who want a commuter car. There's people who want a sports car. But as much as we recommend a tool for each job, not everybody can afford to or has the space to have both. So they're looking for an all-in-one. And usually when you say an all-in-one, a do-it-all, the car tries to do everything, that's where things fall down.
It's about the same power as the Prelude was prior, except for the fact that it's hybrid, which means it has 232 pound-feet of torque, which is actually a good amount. And it has that torque, because it's electric, from the jump. Now, it isn't as efficient as the Civic Hybrid, and it isn't as hardcore as the Type R, so we are stuck in the middle with a car that most people have just said doesn't make sense.
Oh, only 200 horsepower, 232 pound-feet of torque. That's not a lot. And you know what? It's a hybrid, and there's no manual transmission. It's the same controller from the Pilot to the Passport to the Odyssey, every Honda product. It's now the same one, that shift by wire.
But the Prelude is interesting in Honda's lineup because traditionally the Prelude has always been a place where Honda has introduced new technology and things they're trying, and they've mass marketed it with the Prelude. The first dual overhead cam VTEC engine that wasn't in an NSX was in a Prelude. The first four-wheel steer Honda ever did was in a Prelude.
Well, they didn't have much power. So why do we have this expectation that the Prelude has to have 300 plus horsepower? I don't understand.
So they have a tendency to say, hey, look at this cool thing we did, and we're going to introduce it for you in the Prelude. And here, it's this S Plus shift, which is a button down here, which takes the gearbox, which is essentially a revised CVT. It's an eCVT. You have the same setup here as you do in the Civic Hybrid, which means it actually has a direct drive motor and no actual gear ratios. But when you go into S Plus mode, now it acts like it has 8 speeds. It will downshift when you brake hard before a corner. It will upshift when it gets close to the manufactured red line. And it starts to make the gas pedal and the engine interact in a way that makes sense. The last thing that we drove that fabricated it well is the Hyundai Ioniq N. You know what? First, according to the gearbox. It takes off well, the gear changes are fast, it responds in the way that we as driving lovers would like the car to respond. The problem here is the fact that it doesn't always hold that gear. If you're going to create this, especially when you go into the most aggressive sport mode with S+, I kind of want it to hold a gear until I absolutely tell it otherwise. It will still work for the most efficiency possible. And I understand that it's still a hybrid and they have efficiency thinking, but ultimately, if you're going to give me the option all the way. Let me actually shift it completely. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
The car starts in GT mode, which tells you a lot. Honda thinks of this as a GT car, and I've got to readjust my thinking because I've always thought of GT cars like Porsche 928s or any Ferrari 12-cylinder. They're large, heavy, lots of power. Well, if you think about it, Miatas are used as GT cars. So you've got comfort mode, GT mode, and sport, and you also have individual mode, which means you can adjust suspension, steering input, throttle response, the multi-link rear suspension, the brakes all around, the adaptive suspension, and the steering hardware, all from the Civic Type R. Well, that starts to get interesting.
When you drive this quickly, you start to realize that this is kind of a class of one. They have made a hybrid performance vehicle, still front-wheel drive architecture, still genuinely hybrid, and actually a hybrid system that I like. One of my biggest surprises is how rarely this car understeers where I expect it to. We're on a road in Southern California that reveals understeer. Well, this just hangs on. 235s all around, which is a pretty wide tire. It just handles corners. It's amazing what this car can do. I was a skeptic coming in, a big skeptic, and they really have proven that you can make a hybrid vehicle fun. So driven quickly, this reveals itself as pretty awesome, but price is where this struggles. $43,000 essentially as we have it. Feels like too much, doesn't it?
Honda's created a car that is made up of multiple great parts, and I kind of like it. It's got to get really great gas mileage and still be sporty. Nothing really on the market like this.
But the secondary question is, what about these other two that we brought? Is this anywhere near as fun as a daily as the 86 chassis or the Subaru BRZ? And what about just commuting in a Prius? Why not just do that and save money and get even better gas mileage?
Everyday Driver is brought to you by Griot's Garage. Use the code DRIVER10 for 10% off your order.
The Prius instantly pops in your mind when you think commute car,
Yeah.
and I need great gas mileage. Now this is the Nightshade Edition, and it has 220 combined system horsepower that gives you 48 miles to the gallon combined. 48 is pretty high.
But because this is Nightshade with the black mirrors and the weird color, that means that this is $41,000, which is probably more than you thought a Prius was. Now they start at about $28,000, $29,000, so they start significantly cheaper than that Prelude, but we're close in price now.
Yes, we
Now
are.
you can get the normal Prius, you can get in the mid-30s, which I would argue is probably what the Prelude should cost and what we think it should cost. This is Toyota CVT and hybrid above all else.
To the point where I'm surprised it has a sport mode. And we lived with one of these new Prii for about 6 months. We put Vredestein high-performance tires on our Prius and took it to the track and showed ourselves that we could get 38 miles to the gallon combined.
On track.
Average.
On a track day, yeah.
The forte for this car is not canyon driving. And the Prelude has far sportier intentions and drives far more interesting and better than this does.
Yeah.
The tires are pretty narrow in this car to the point where every time we drive it, we can't help but squeal the tires.
It's hilariously bad. It really is, yeah.
No paddles. You don't get any say over how the car makes the power. So if you're choosing a commuter, knowing the Prelude is nearly to the gas mileage of this,
It's close, okay.
that suddenly makes it interesting. Almost the same price. It's $2,000 off.
I'm amazed by that. I can't believe how close these are in price,
It
actually.
doesn't have performance bits on it.
No, it
no
doesn't.
performance
Nope,
parts.
not at all.
Even though it's fun to make it do what it doesn't like.
Well, and it's a set of tires away from being significantly better.
So does the Prelude make the Prius obsolete as a commuter car because it introduces the element of fun?
big thing about this is miles per gallon a little bit better, but also has like usable back seats.
It does.
So I mean, if you're looking at a family car, the Prelude obviously doesn't work. This could be your family car. And for the Prelude, you have to find the buyer who wants, I'd like miles per gallon, and please give me fun. And the Prius has never done that and still does okay.
It's decent in here, but it doesn't strike you as a luxury car. And
Not at all.
above $40,000, you're going to start looking for a little bit nicer features, even though it's fine. It's good. The seating position here, you know what, we're used to it now, even though I really do hate the compromise with the steering wheel and the instrument panel here, the gauge cluster. You have to choose one or the other. Either the steering wheel is where you like it, or the instrument cluster is where you like it. You can't have both. But stylistically speaking, this is holding up like crazy. It looks better and better. I like it in this color. It's not for me. And if they only made a GR Prius, so I wonder, Toyota, with their newly introduced GR Sport on the RAV4, I wonder if GR Sport shows up on the Prius because the Prelude exists.
You just made a bunch of viewers throw up a little bit. I'm just saying he did. All right, I'm ready to drive.
It's your turn to squeal the tires.
So we've been doing all the same things in this Prius as we've been doing in the Prelude. All the same roads, all the same driving. And it's been interesting to see the places where Honda has cared about actually bringing performance to a hybrid. First thing is the seats. Seats in this are not good. They're not performance seats. They've never been performance seats. We don't normally expect that, though we have argued that commute cars should have the best seats on the planet.
Yes.
Honda's kind of done that with the Prelude, which is cool. The CVT here is annoying, but I have always preferred the driving interaction of the Honda hybrid products because of the way they have a direct drive motor. It just feels better than this eCVT from Toyota. Make sure I'm in sport mode. It's not going to matter much, but I got to make sure. Yeah, I am. Okay, that's really
They've got it. They offer it.
It says it on the dash. You really find the edges of this very, very quickly on a back road like this, and the Prelude keeps surprising. I expect it to drive like this does, and it doesn't. And all the places where this squeals and understeers, the Prelude just hangs on. The hilarity here is making this do what it doesn't want to do. That's where this is fun.
That's the fun.
It's not because, oh my gosh, it did that. That's incredible. The incredible part starts to leak in the Prelude, like, oh, that really is genuinely good. Here you laugh because you made it do it in spite of itself.
Yes.
And it's squealing the entire time like you're murdering it. You really do feel the performance cred and the Civic Type R material in the Prelude when you drive this anywhere in comparison. But if you really are commuting, this is going to do everything you need.
Let's say you just drive this and it's just a commuter car. You've got a great looking, spacious, interesting, well-priced commuter car. Nobody is complaining about $41,000 for a Nightshade Edition Prius, and it offers no fun. So why is everybody complaining about a $43,000 hybrid commuter that's a two-door and offers Civic Type R running gear, suspension, steering hardware, and brakes all the way around?
I wonder how many people are buying the $41,000 version of the Prius. I think most people are hoping it's going to be mid-30s.
They're going to keep the price down, but still, the fact that this is up there and Toyota has allowed that price to creep up to $41,300 plus dollars.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
That's amazing. The fact that they've identified that market and people will buy it.
Yeah. All of the driver interactions here, you're aware of the fact that you're working against type, you're working against design. In the Prelude, the driving part of it, you can tell, was baked in from the beginning. But if you are sitting nose to tail in traffic, all of that's lost on you. And I think it only starts to reveal itself when you get out here on a road and you actually push, which is when the Prius becomes funny because it's terrible, and it's where the Prelude goes, oh, I get it now. But short of that push, I'm not sure you shouldn't have just bought a Prius. This does everything you need.
Yes. Now this is at the far commuting end of things. We need to drive the other car that is the fun side of things.
Let's see how close they got to that one. We love the 86 platform, and I just got back in this and thought, this is such a joyous car. It's just playful and happy, and of course, manual transmission. But I'm going to argue against the manual transmission for a second and say this isn't fun because of the manual. And to prove it, I've got it in third. I'm going to leave it in third
And just
I'm
drive?
not going to shift it. I'm just going
Okay.
to leave it in third. Forget manual for a second, because we all know that manuals are more involving. That's not news to anybody. And of course, the other two are not offered in a manual. And that's a big sticking point on the Prelude. People wish it was a manual, and I get it. And Honda has history. The CRZ and the Insight were both hybrid manuals. They could have done one, and I think there's a missed opportunity there. I agree with that. But you get in this car, and it instantly feels alive.
It really does.
It's so light, it's so playful. We're talking about 2,900 pounds on the high side here, so it's about 300 pounds lighter than the other two. But splitting what the wheels do creates a balance, and this car is so well done. If you're looking for a commuter, like a daily that is fun, I think this is your go-to car. I really do. I mean, I know you can argue Miata, you can go upmarket, you can obviously spend a lot more money on Caymans and things like that, but this is also under 40.
Well under 40, 36 and change, which it makes it compelling. This is an aspirational sports car. But I've got a thought for you about positioning.
Okay.
Because you and I have been talking about all 5 prior generations of the Prelude. All those Preludes were underpowered.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yep.
They were never designed to be the ultimate sports car.
Mm-hmm.
Then the GR86 comes along, and this BRZ. The first generation, all of us were going, if only it had more power.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like the GR86 first gen and the BRZ brought back Prelude thinking, because it was manual transmission.
Okay.
It was the sports car recipe, but it wasn't designed to be the hottest car ever. That's what the GR Super does.
Sure.
This has more power in this second generation. It's still not designed to be the ultimate sports car. But it's great.
Think you can do better dynamics than this for most people.
Well, this is my point. It was designed for a specific segment of the market, not quite the ultimate sports car. It's aspirational, still well priced, still fun to drive, but not a commuter. They already make a commuter. It's called a Prius.
They do. We have the Prelude between the two bookends here, and that was on purpose, obviously. I mean, this is your fun daily, and you happen to be a person who must commute. You don't buy this to commute in. It is,
Yes.
I bought one car, and I'd like it to be fun, and I don't think you can beat this. And this is the place where I really think the Prelude is in trouble, because this is significantly cheaper, significantly lighter, and the dynamics are much better than the Prelude. But it's louder, and the miles per gallon aren't nearly as close.
Yes, but I still don't think I want to commute in this, because I'd be so frustrated, like knowing I'd rather have this on a fun road or on a track.
For sure, yes. I mean,
So
this is
that's
you
where
bought
the-
a fun daily.
I think that's where the Prelude does shine, because of positioning. They said
Okay.
Prius plus BRZ, Prelude. So what if you could have both?
That's certainly what they're counting on. And my question is, how many buyers are there for that? Because this has found a surprising number of buyers, the majority of which actually got it in manual, which I think is amazing. The automatic in this car is fine. Okay, it's more of an automatic than either the other
Pushes
two.
it towards commuting.
But
at that
yeah,
point.
but this is going to be louder than the other two, even though the BRZ is a little bit softer and better sound deadened version of this car. But if you are a person who you're thinking fun, I still think this wins.
Absolutely, it wins.
I know you're sick of hearing about the 86 chassis on this channel and in our podcast, but every time I get in one, especially, I almost feel like it reminds me again, because we don't own one now. And I get in and I just go,
Yeah.
we were right. They're so
Yeah.
much fun, but you're going to have to decide to commute in this. But you are getting a savings. I mean, if you go to the 86 instead of the BRZ, you
You'll
get out
save
the
even
door
more.
in the mid-30s
Yeah,
for this.
true.
Almost 10 grand less than the Prelude, which is huge.
True.
I do think that this might have more backseat room, though, than the Prelude, which is terrifying. But I think this actually
crazy.
might.
Let's say you buy used versions of both. You buy a used Prius for 15 to 20,
Okay,
and you buy a used one of these for 15 to 20.
sure.
You've spent 35 to 40 grand.
Sure.
Or you could
Okay.
have it in one car with a Prelude. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
You're seeing how
I
it adds
see
up.
how Honda
Yeah.
got to that market, and they've invented something that nobody else has.
Now, I will say that interior is where you start to see why this is cheaper. Because outside of the seats and the good ergonomics, this is an economy car interior. And that's never bothered me.
economic, yeah.
But the Prelude feels like it costs at least 10 grand more than this just when you sit in it. It's got a much nicer
And
interior.
this is the luxury version, the nice one, the most
Yep.
expensive one. And it's still feels a little cheap. Oh man, what an old friend, huh? What a great, oh, that steering is so light. It's so delightful.
It's fun in the passenger seat.
This is the fun car. I love this car so much. It's noisy, it's thrashy, it's very focused on what it should be doing.
Yep.
I don't know that I want to commute in this thing. It's a tool for the job, for sure. I am going to drive it. I think it should be driven.
Because we know it absolutely is even more fun when you shift it.
Look at that.
For sure, it's amazing.
It just
amazing.
Sticks.
Yes.
It just hangs on.
Yes.
The brakes are great. The suspension's great. And it does have decent power. I want 250, but this is so much fun. And the harder you drive it, the better it gets.
Very nice, very nice. Yep.
Yes.
I mean, there's no question. When you get working with the manual, the heel toe placement's great. You get working with it, it gets even more fun again. But take that out of the equation, which is what I did, and you just can't touch this for just usable daily work that can also handle like crazy. I mean, a Miata is so much smaller than this.
So you can't say that the Prelude went after this car, even though everybody wanted the Prelude to be a rival to this. You know it? Everybody thought, well,
absolutely.
Honda built a BRZ.
Absolutely, that was what everybody talked about.
A little bit more luxurious, and so when they read the specs and it wasn't, everybody instantly dismissed the Prelude.
Who's the person that's going to actually sell a new hybrid with a manual option? That'll be the real curious step.
And Honda's the one to do it.
Honda's done it before. Why didn't they do it this time? I think that is a misstep. The Prelude also was never your go-to car to buy for a back road. It was a commuter alt. It was not a car that Honda made as a track car canyon car. This is a track car canyon car that can commute.
Yes. The question is Honda right? Did they identify a market that everybody else didn't even think of? Did the car landscape suddenly get more interesting because the Prelude exists?
The thing for me is, I hope if there are folks out there that are looking to buy a Prelude because they want a commuter with fun, I hope they've at least driven this.
Yeah.
If you really want fun as a daily car, you have to drive one of these 86 chassis. BRZ if you want a little bit softer version, but it doesn't matter. Both of them are great. And I really hope people are cross-shopping this if they're thinking about the Prelude. And it's cheaper.
And it's much cheaper.
But it does have the things against it because it is a harder place to commute.
It's so funny. It's just so fun and interesting to slice it up like this.
I love that we have all three together. And we have to get back in the Prelude.
Now we have to really drive the Prelude like we're driving this. But it can be.
True.
It has Civic Type R bits.
That's true.
Everyday Driver is brought to you by Power Stop. Brake upgrades made easy.
All right, so I'm in the default GT mode.
Yes, this is how it starts.
Which gives you a little bit of engine discussion. But what you want to do is go up into Sport mode, which makes the suspension as stiff as possible, which on a bad back road like this, sometimes it's a little bit too much. But then you do S+, which means I can shift myself. I've been doing all kinds of air quotes in this car when it comes to shifting.
Yeah, why is that?
But the paddles,
virtual.
Yeah, exactly. The paddles do work. I mean, it is impressive how quickly it changes a ratio. And you know what? I think the power out of the hole, that wasn't even full throttle, is surprising. Because of that electric assist and good torque, you can really claw yourself out of a corner. In fact, I feel like under power coming out of a corner is when this chassis shines the most. You really get a sense that it doesn't want to understeer and it really wants to pull you through. And they have agile handling assist, which is essentially brake vectoring that's going on here as well, that just makes this thing pull its way out of a corner in a way I was not expecting, honestly.
You know what the acronym for Agile Handling Assist is?
What?
Aha!
This does handle incredibly well, and I think it reveals all the special parts on it only when you push it hard in a corner. Because I think it just kind of hides as, why don't I get some other car when you're just driving it normally? But when you're back here and you actually ask the chassis to do stuff, you go, wait a minute, this is a really good front-wheel drive chassis. Stays flat in corners, pulls itself through in corners. There's so much going on with these front wheels and it doesn't matter. It still navigates. I think up there with some of the best front-wheel drives out there. The biggest problem with the Prelude for me, and I think for many of you watching, is that number 4 on the front of the price tag. I think if it was 39 grand to start, half of the complaints would go away. Something about that 4, especially when the Civic Type R is also a mid-4, makes this feel too expensive. Civic Type R is better, and of course you get the manual, and of course it's more focused, but do you want to daily a Civic Type R? Probably not, which is where this does shine.
You're driving briskly down this canyon road, and I'm fascinated to be on the passenger side because the seat bottoms in the Prelude are different.
Yep.
They are designed to hold the driver more in place. Not a track-focused kind of seat, but definitely designed for sportier driving. And over here, it's designed for your passenger to enjoy GT-style road trip cruising. But it's not holding me in place like it's holding you in place.
Yeah,
that's clear.
That's the thing, is that once you become the passenger
I'm
in this
sliding
car,
around.
you actually wish the seat held you better if we're driving it like it's intended. And I
so
think,
why the 2 seat bottom differences?
I agree with you. I think
it's almost like they're trying to keep it from becoming the Civic Type R. Like, well, you don't want a passenger.
Yeah, you're just going to do it yourself. I don't know. It's very agile. Places when I think it will understeer, it doesn't. This is a victory, but I think that number has freaked everybody out because as we've proven here with the 2 cars that we brought, this is the most expensive car of the 3. It actually feels significantly heavier than the BRZ. I mean, I know it's 300 pounds, it feels like a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's weird.
And is such front-wheel drive dart thinking, which you've talked about before, where everything going on, you can feel it all in front of your knees.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on behind you and you can tell.
Yes.
It sounds ridiculous when you read on the spec sheet, suspension parts from the Civic Type R, and then you drive it and go, yeah.
Exactly. All right, so in the interior, the entire idea is if we're going to be paying more money, it's got to feel more upscale. It's got to feel a little bit more luxurious. And you know what? Over the BRZ TS, it does.
Definitely over the BRZ.
It feels
yes.
almost Acura-like in here. And so, all right, you know what? The textures, everything just feels very premium. And I wish it would have power controls everywhere on these seats, because that would also justify the price. Oh, they're all power and they've got lumbar and everything.
I agree, and I think
it keeps it less than premium.
Yeah, and Honda's gotten away with it in the Civic Type R because of what that car is. But because of what this car is, you miss not having power seats, and it feels like a glaring omission. I agree with that.
So it does feel very Civic-like here, and the joysticks remain. I love the joysticks.
Yeah.
It looks simple, clean. We all need screens in our lives. It's not too big. It is stuck on, but who cares? It's a screen. We need the screen.
That is the one place, actually, where I think this interior seems cheaper than it should, is it still has the Honda stuck-on screen that's in all the Civics. And that's why it's here, because it's in all the Civics. But if it was integrated better, that would make this seem even more upscale.
I suppose so, but it just makes you think, all right, the 2-door Civic, because everything else in here, this is not groundbreaking. This is just all the same parts from the Civic catalog. So one of the big things down here, you'll notice the S Plus button along with the drive modes down here, and that is the difference in the Prelude, and so I want to use these and talk about these a little bit.
Well, and you can do S Plus shifting in any of the modes.
Right.
Comfort, Sport, GT, and then of course you have an individual mode you can change as well, which I think should be even more individual for you to decide how you want the shifting to occur, but that's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
You got to drive.
All right. Interesting. All right, so the styling allows for a nice headroom, a lot of headroom in here, that nice dart shape, that forward thinking, the glider shape. Everything about this car feels like the heavy end, the business end, the tip of the spear is all at the front. It's all in the front drive wheels, the engine, everything. The weight feels like it's all up here. And so you have to drive it like that. That's the kind of thinking. So it's an excellent enthusiast car, but it's also not the traditional sports car that everybody wants. This has the steering input, as you mentioned, from the Civic Type R, and then these paddles. You can shift it yourself, and it creates these virtual gears. The problem is, after you feather the throttle for a little bit, it just upshifts back to where you were. I'm thinking about the second best dual clutch transmission you've ever driven. Think about what that is. It's like the electronic version of that.
Okay, all right.
It's like a digital PDK, I feel like.
Okay, that's good. I see that.
If you just feather things and you don't really give it a lot of gas and input, it will eventually just go back to thinking for yourself, and that's what PDKs do.
Yep.
And
Which
they're
it just
great.
did right there.
Okay,
It
there
did
it is.
twice. It just did it twice.
Okay, so it upshifted 4th and then 5th, so now
Yep.
we're in 5th gear.
Yep.
So I'm gonna leave it in automatic mode. Yeah, that was just a throttle stab, so there's no kick down switch for the transmission. It's just sensing the throttle position. And yeah, I feathered the throttle, so it upshifted. Now we're back.
It's still
driving
chasing miles per
sportily.
gallon. And ultimately,
It's a compromise.
That's where I think the individual mode should give you an option for you to go full manual on the
Yes.
transmission. It'll hold every time you say, it won't upshift ever. That would be great.
So it shifted right at 6.
It does a good job.
It's a good job, but it's a virtual gear. But on the other hand, it changes the engine pitch and it makes you feel like you're driving a sports car. So is any of this a bad thing? Well, no. I wanted Honda to bring back Prelude with a manual. And the biggest downside of this car for me is power. Lack of power. Even though you said the torque is good and it does pull you out. You just pull a paddle, but just like a PDK, the PDK can almost shift better than you can. It's more fun to use the paddles.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm not necessarily doing a better job. I mean, a little bit. I'm just holding a gear.
It is the way to connect your foot to what the motor's doing. Because otherwise, if you're not in S Plus mode, it'll actually, you consider the light and the engine can be running because it's charging the battery. It'll do things that are disconnected.
So the other thing is this suspension. It's got the Civic Type R retuned dampers and the multi-link suspension from the Civic Type R back here and the brakes all the way around. And you know what? You said something earlier as we've been driving these cars. The Prelude gets better the harder you drive it.
Yeah.
That is a hallmark of the best cars that we've driven. And let's put it this way, it's going in the right direction, right?
Sure.
I wish for a manual, I wish for more power, but they've left the door open for some future performance version, and I still think it's in the name. Prelude means something else is coming.
Fair. Okay. Yeah.
I think, and I'm calling my shot now, the S2000 is coming back, and that will be the hardcore version. This is still the compromise.
Sure.
And I'm so impressed by lack of understeer. I just continue to turn the wheel over. It doesn't have the feedback and feel of the BRZ. It doesn't. It never will. All the weight's over the front. But you know what? It's impressive. The harder you drive it, the better it gets. I think it will reach the right people that want some kind of sporty-ish driving, and then they remember, oh yeah, once I hit the freeway, I'll be good.
I hope so. I mean, Honda is only targeting 4,000 buyers a year, which seems legit for this. They're not asking for this to be a huge sales success. That means they're willing to do fun cars for real.
So that brings us to the drive modes. This can operate in 3 different modes. EV mode only, which is few and far between because it doesn't have a huge battery, but it will here and there. And most of the time, it's operating in the hybrid drive mode. The wheels are being powered by the electric motor. The gas engine is merely acting as a generator, but it does have a clutch, so at highway speeds, that locks up, and the gas engine is driving the wheels directly. But the entire system is operating through all these different modes constantly, depending on how you're driving. And I don't like to use the word seamless very often.
You hate the word seamless.
I hate it
Yeah.
a lot. So I'm not going to use it, but it's impressive as you don't feel the differences between the modes. It's just doing it for you constantly, and you do feel like you're in control with the S Plus.
Yeah, as it changes where the power is coming from, you pretty much don't notice, except for the S Plus gear change does at least connect your foot to what the engine's howl is like.
That's true. It does change the noise in the cabin. So it's not like Honda forgot itself. I think they've done well despite what I want more out of it. I want manual
Okay, all right.
250 horsepower.
Sure.
But that could manifest itself in a different car.
Possibly. I'll tell you what my concern is. It feels too pricey at low 40s. What happens when dealers mark this up 10 grand?
That's the problem.
Then they'll kill it.
But this is not a car that is markup worthy. This is not that
It's
car.
not. It's not.
The theme of the new Prelude is a glider concept. And we've talked about everything being front forward, so like a dart kind of styling. But I do want to call your attention to the front nose of both the Prius and the Prelude. And note the similarities. It's a commuter car, and what commuter car were they looking at? And they sort of, it infected their styling treatment on the Prelude.
You're being kind.
It's too close. All it is is an iteration, front styling-wise, of that car.
I agree with that. And I'm going to say something else that I don't think you're going to agree with me on. But I think over time, both the Prius and the 86 are more long-term attractive than this car. I think it looks good because it looks new.
There's elements about it look new, but it's not so crazy over the top.
True.
Line and arc stylistically speaking. From the rear shot, this car actually, there's some nice surface treatments and the fenders, the hips swell out, and they've pushed the wheels out to the arches, that kind of hemmed fender arch, and it's pushed out, and broad surfaces wear good colors. Very well.
No,
Broad
I'm
surfaces.
so glad it's in a color.
It's a bright, beautiful color. I'm a bit mixed. I'm a bit in disagreement with that because I think it will age gracefully because this is successful, because we know it's successful.
I do. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Prius is a more striking car than the Prelude. But the big question here, the big question is, has Honda made a product people are going to buy? I know they're not looking for huge sales numbers, but any video you've watched before this one, all the discussion of the internet, the entire internet at large that cares about cars has had thoughts on the Prelude. From the first announcement, they've had thoughts, and the thought has generally been, this is a failure. And I think it's a success for what they did. I think they succeeded. I think this, as you drive it dynamically, is far better than it should be. I just wish it had a more cab backward styling, and I wish that first number was a 3, not a 4 on the price tag. I think those are the big things for it to fight. And people not understanding how much cars cost right now, and I'm putting you and I in that camp. We look at numbers for cars right now, we just go, that much, really? Cars have gotten really expensive, and a $40,000 car is easy to do.
We live in the world of $50,000 GR Corollas.
We do. We shouldn't be in that world, but yes.
Ceiling has been shattered now.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. I think we have to go here.
Okay.
And that is, and this is all theoretical, because I realize your situation might change and everybody's situation is a little different, but you live in a city. We're in Los Angeles right now to shoot this. You live in a city. There's fun driving in your life. I mean, LA provides that. You're buying one car, but you are going to commute on the freeway. You personally, which of these three do you go with?
I'm going BRZ, GR86.
Are you really?
I am.
I'm kind of surprised because everybody knows I'm going there. I'm still buying that. It's because it's light, it's cheaper, and it's just playful. If I don't want fun, I might just go Prius.
Here's my problem. I see cars through the world of a design brief.
Okay.
I see them through the success of a design or the success or failure of a car. Did it meet its design? Did it meet its design brief? And in that sense, I think it was met perfectly. For what Honda established, commuter, fun sports car, introduced new technology. I think they nailed it.
Well, it's perfectly between these two cars. It is the commute capability of the Prius and some of the fun of the 86 merged into one car. It's absolutely, it's the DNA of both of these, and you do get this. And if I was thinking about commuting more than fun, I would go here, but I personally have to be a little more fun, even if I have to commute in it, and that puts me back in the BRZ. But I agree with you, they have nailed what this should be.
They've nailed it, but I have to go with what stirs me. I have to go with a car that I'm just excited about, because this is, wow, yeah, this is great. I hope 4,000 people think it's great too.
I hope more than that, because it deserves to be bought.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But I have to go with something that stirs me, and I'm just like, I have to go fun. And I'll suffer through the commute to get fun. But that doesn't mean there's not room for this.
Okay, so now I have a conversation starter. We're just gonna walk off set on this one. If we're gonna lean more fun than commute, the Civic Type R is only $3 grand more than that.
Oh man.